cut it. That's like took away from them now. Oh, yeah.
But, yeah, but not like we were. So it hasn't completely eliminated the problem, but it has reduced it by 95% compared to what it was.
You do that. Last week, but, I got 30 years, and I can do 50 years. So much extra. That's what I felt.
But I mean, you want something.
Yeah. Well, I'm about decided to consider what they're selling. Probably go around me, you know. I might just need to say, well, mine is 15 acres.
I mean,
15 acres of it is mine. Yeah. Well, it's a show. I mean, I grew up that way, you know. Daddy had.
No, that's right. Because I was thinking.
That was, but when people build up every single side, it's not, you're not yet.
I'm not saying you should, yeah, like the cost of things.
They've got those three little houses over on
For sure, coming at us. They're gonna match, I think.
Yeah.
Technically, the like,
I mean, a lot of
reality.
yeah.
I know.
Yeah, it's pretty good. It's already been.
Over 25 years anyway. And, so it's about 1.7 acres, I think, for a lot.
It's not bad turnaround.
No.
Well, and just now, regardless of what we do.
That's a lot more protection than 20 acres in Madison County.
We have to.
That's not touching.
Right, and you know what I mean, which we already have.
Right.
A decent situation.
They put those across there, so they're so fussy. But I got good things. And then my neighbor, another guy who's also 15 acres behind me, got this little
A certain amount.
folks down there.
You just want over time.
So they put that 30-foot easement in there, it ain't even a road.
And I
Yeah. I got one that.
So,
No amount of
if there is a loophole to find out there, massage
We've been like this, so we stayed pretty nice, and got covenants that couldn't, don't have a homeowners association. Got covenants I couldn't enforce if I had to. Well, the good news is that sneak up on yeah. How you doing? Yeah, buddy. How he drove all the land around it, big parcels. They probably. Well, when Daddy died, 2 weeks. It's harder to see houses. You don't know how to quit.
But he also.
Yeah.
I'm done calling. Go home and come back for the next long time.
now with it. Already back out like.
Stolen all.
Well, and I'm glad it's really early.
Okay.
wild, because he keeps that's the applicant can't go into he is on we want to do.
Oh,
But he was on the that's like, wow.
And anyway, when we take care of about
That would have been all right with me.
It's gonna be a lot of questions.
Yes.
After the last meeting, we know ourselves a little time.
may not be paying as much attention as you think.
Always been done. It's across.
I've never been more
All right, welcome everyone to the Madison County Board of Commissioners, regular business setting agenda, January 29th, 6 p.m. Please stand for the
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. Gentlemen, before you have a copy of the minutes from December 18th, 2023 regular business meeting and minutes from January 8th agenda setting work session. Please take a moment to look over those. If you see no discrepancies, I'll entertain a motion to approve the minutes.
The minutes be approved as presented.
On the minutes, I got a question, on the minutes of the January 8th, the public hearing items zoning, 1 and 2, it makes a notation of the 19 conditions, but they were not identified in the minutes,
Yep.
so
This
it said they're attached. So
this will be attached with their minutes, with those minutes. They'll be attached in the book and digitally.
Okay. And then on number 13, the list of following conditions, I thought there was an additional one about extending the sidewalk out to the main road, so we could build on that to make this opportunity.
Yeah.
We have a retirement type community that we can't get them close to school, potential mentors and collaboration. Yeah. Those are the ones that comments I have.
All right. So I have a motion by Commissioner Chandler, second by Commissioner May. Any other discussion, gentlemen?
With the corrections.
Yes. Yes. All right. Commissioner Adams?
Yes.
Yes.
Yes. Yes.
Yes.
Thank you. Business involving guest groups and multiple visitors, the library quarterly report. This will be the turn. Uh-oh.
Yeah.
Oh, stay off the last gate.
Good evening. Y'all get those? I won't say a lot about numbers, but just to say, you see our numbers do continue to go up, most especially computer use stays in high demand. That's a constant for us. Some other highlights for this past quarter, we had an author talk with Lila Lawson, who is local, and she co-wrote with Lauren Emily Whalen, and they did an event together. We also partnered with the Madison County Heritage Foundation. We had Dr. John Barton come and give a talk on the history of Madison County. In a partnership with the Chamber of Commerce and the high school, we hosted 4 students in the fall job shadowing event. That was a really nice day with the students, having them learn about being in the library. And this morning I filled out the form to sign us up for the spring event, so we're looking forward to doing that again. Another partnership with the high school had us hosting teachers and students in a job skills class. These were special ed students who were learning some skills about how the library is organized, how to find materials, how you would put something away if you were going to do that. They came several times in November to classes with students, and that was a really nice program, and we're going to be having that again starting tomorrow. They're coming back. So looking forward to that. In November, we had some first grade classes from Paul Sanford Elementary come. They toured the library, got to listen to the reading of a book, and then had a great time going all over the library doing our little scavenger hunt we have every month. And they had a wonderful time doing that and took home a bookmark at the end. We continue a lovely partnership with Farm Bureau. Over the fall, they lent us some wooden apple trees, and they brought really realistic-looking toy apples. There's a picture in your report that you'll see of a little boy picking apples off the tree. Kids had a great time playing with those, and it was really fun. We had some fun days of crafting and movie watching and just general celebration for Halloween and Christmas. For the Christmas one, we had a Mrs. Santa Claus come visit. She joined us for story time and stayed and visited with families afterwards. We had several outreach events that we participated in. We were at Halloween in the Park, went to Learning Train Academy, and read Christmas stories at the Senior Center. And just finally, to invite y'all to some things. I don't know if any of you are musicians, but if you are, I would love for you to come visit our acoustic fun event that happens first and third Wednesdays at 1 o'clock. Come check us out, get together and play some music. And we are starting a series of programs in partnership with MART on helping people be their best selves. So the February Lunch and Learn is going to be on the 23rd, and we're going to have a speaker from Project Safe who's going to come talk about healthy relationships. Some other things we're thinking about in the future of that series have to do with financial literacy and financial health, good nutrition. So if you'll have topics that you think might be interesting and helpful for people to learn about, let me know, especially if you have ideas of speakers for that.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. You got a lot going on. I see the up and coming calendar.
Yes, sir.
Pretty good too, so we appreciate what y'all do. Thank you, ladies. Division of Family and Children's Services, Ms. Tabitha Wood, Madison County Director.
Good evening, I'm Tabitha Willoughby. I'm the new county director for Madison County. I have 17 years of experience with the department. I've worked in pretty much all 12 counties in Region 5 as either a case manager, supervisor, administrator, or field program specialist. I'm excited to be here in Madison County. I'm really excited about working with the community and the staff we have in the office. The first handout just has some of our totals, what we closed out 2023 with. During 2023, 27 children in Madison County entered foster care. We had 78 investigations, 18 family support cases, and 84 family preservation cases. And we also had 4 kids placed in a voluntary kinship. That means they were placed outside of the home but did not enter foster care. The closures that we had in 2023, we sent 24 children home from foster care. We closed 83 investigations, 31 family support cases, 84 family press cases, and 11 voluntary kinships. Out of the 24 foster care cases, 14 children were reunified with their parents. 1 child went to custody to a relative, 5 entered guardianship, and 4 was adopted. As of today, we have 27 children in foster care with, I think it was about 10 placed in the county. Most of those are with relatives. We only have 4 foster homes open in Madison County. We have moved into the new building, and there's 21 staff members housed there. It's broken down, so we have 8 social services staff members, 1 member from regional accounting, 3 OSI members, that's our Office of Family Independence, they're housed there, and 9 regional staff. We have opened up our office Monday through Thursday from 9 to 4, and they're closed from 12 to 1. What I'm hearing from our Commissioner Brose is that it's on her agenda to open the office 5 days a week. So I plan on seeing the office being open on Fridays, the front lobby staff. Staff are coming into the office a lot more. They're using it for a lot of other things, meetings that they need, family team meetings with the families, that sort of thing. Down below is the work that our Office of Family Independence did. They processed 90 applications for TANF, and so that's the temporary aid for needy families. That is the check that families receive. They processed 1,568 applications for food stamps for last year, and then they processed 5,981 applications for Medicaid last year. The next page is just a little bit about the budget and what was spent where. The majority of the budget went to the salary supplements for our staff, and they're very appreciative of that. It helps draw case managers to work at Madison County as opposed to another county. And then our contracts is where we would pay PRNs, which is temporary workers, to come in and fill in the gap wherever it's needed. And below down there, it just says how much each position gets as a county supplement. Right now, we have 5 case managers on staff. I have 1 office manager and then myself. And I didn't add her in there, but I can. I have 1 supervisor on staff. So there's a total of 7 us in social services and then 3 in OSI. The next is just an update to the year-end budget. Like, I noticed the one that was submitted with our proposal did not have the end of the year totals. So that's our end of the year totals. What I really would like to focus on this year is I want to focus on increasing foster homes in the county. So I would like to focus on some recruitment efforts there. I know in previous years, Madison County has had more than 4 foster homes. I think getting out there and talking to the community would be good to see what they can offer, help. Even if they can't take a child on full time, they could do certain things to help foster parents, whether that's a respite type situation, keep the child for the weekend, going in and helping provide a meal or something. There's lots of things that they can help to support the ones we have. And I also want to spend time this year building community relations. I've had some conversations with the law enforcement, the Sheriff's Office, Walton County Sheriff's Office, about what we need to do, how we need to improve. I'm open to any other suggestions. I've been having some ongoing communications with different people in the school system about that as well. In the future, I want to set up some meetings with our judge, the Department of Juvenile Justice, to kind of work through some of those cases. And then the last is the budget proposal that was submitted. And then the very last thing is just our foster parent reimbursement policy. It just kind of lists what all they get reimbursed for.
So thank you for taking this over. And I'm gonna try not to be too personal, because I know you have an uphill challenge. So the Board of Commissioners, and we're gonna get to this in just a second about the DFACS budget contract. Unfortunately, either I'm mistaken or was misled by the previous supervisor, because she stated that all of the Madison County contributions from this government complex went to aid for foster care. Basically, the money went into the foster care home for the children that's in foster care. At no point did it say that there was $12,198 in salary supplements, and this is not you, this is her. Okay, so I'm speaking to her.
Yes.
I would love an email contact for the lady at the state office that you referenced a minute ago.
Yes, sir.
Because as I see it today, you're open 4 days a week now, but it's only 24 hours a week. So, we're gonna get to this in a minute, but 24 hours is not even close to full time. See, I work 6 hours a day, closed for lunch. I'm not gonna tell you how unacceptable that is to Todd, but we'll eventually get into the budget contract in a minute, and I know, I have full faith in you that you're gonna do a better job than the last one, because honestly, my personal opinion, from coming from a DFACS life for 20 years, but Madison County, the numbers that you stated earlier, the 27 foster care, 78 investigations, 18 supports, these numbers are numbers that I saw in 1998, and I don't think the world's got better. I think we've been closed too long, and I think we work 24 hours a week, or those numbers will be further increased. This is not your fight previously. I know this is going forward, but I do expect, as the chairman and representative of this county, in order to be able to continue these contracts, that this problem must be resolved at the Gold Dome, and I'll do my best to make sure that they get resolved. Because we, unfortunately, COVID took a strike to all of us, but our problems were prior to COVID. We are in a facility now that houses less people than we did in 2000, 24 years ago. We have more people working for DFACS then. So this, again, not your problem, but I thank you, and I only hope to see good results coming in the future. Now, with that said, if anybody has any questions on your report, feel free, gentlemen.
The numbers on your report that you had, food stamps and Medicaid, those are Madison County numbers.
Yes, sir.
Those represent new applications.
The column that says number of applications processed, yes, sir, that's new applications. The active cases represent old applications plus new applications. Those are what's active now. And another thing that I really want to spend some focus on is also what else we can do in the community with some of the money. There's some things that was not earmarked in the budget that I'm going to be talking with my board about that could potentially help the community. One thing that I'm going to look at and see what my board thinks, I've already spoken with the person at Regional Accounting who handles all of the money, is possibly looking at opening up a general assistance account, which would help people. I know Action Incorporated has a general assistance account, so I want to work with that lady to see if we need to add another one or what that looks like and what a general assistance account, it would provide like a one-time if you need your light bill paid or if you need help getting medication because your insurance lapsed, things like that. And of course, they would be check and balances to make sure, and there would be a protocol or requirements that they have to meet in order to get that. But that's something that me and Mr. Gardner from the Regional Accounting Office talked about doing, so I'm going to present it to my board as what they think. And it could potentially help with children entering foster care. Potentially, it just depends.
I don't know if it was you or maybe an assistant that just recently emailed us contact information for DFACS, whoever that was. Thank you, because that's the first one that I have saw in 20 years.
Okay.
Physical phone number physical office, physical contact. We now have it pinned up on our memo board right outside my office, and I want to thank you for that, because we did not know how to contact DFAX. For so long, we didn't.
And that should have my cell phone on, so if I'm not in the building, I have my cell phone. So that's the luck I get with being the county director. But please, feel free to reach out to my cell phone. I try to have it as much as I can. Obviously, if I'm in court or in a meeting, I might have it cut off. But there's a couple of things that I've prided myself on throughout my career at DFAX. One being I return phone calls and emails. It might take me 24 hours, but I will get back, and I stick to the 24 hours. Our state says 48, I think 24. So I will get back in touch. Even if it's just to say I don't know the answer, I'm going to have to find it. I will let you know. And the other thing is, I think it takes a village. I pride myself on the relationships that I have built with my community partners and previous counties I work with. I really am hoping to bridge whatever gap needs to be bridged with the police, the law enforcement, the schools, DJJ, whoever. Because it's a community and we all have to work together for the better of the children.
Thank you for saying that.
The sheet,
I'm sorry.
do you have the sheet?
Yes, the
Okay.
one that I submitted.
Yeah, I'm assuming you got a copy of it.
Yes, sir.
Can you walk me through some understanding of the numbers here? Like the gray part, the top part, it's 23 budget, expenses, I imagine, broke out per month, and we have your totals and your balance and what was spent.
Correct.
And so then we've got like incidentals, we're overage, you got some overage there.
Mm-hmm.
But that's under the foster care line item, so I would imagine, somewhere along the books that needs to be shored up. And then, if you keep following down, there's a salary supplement, which I'll have to say that my recollection was all the money that we provided went to support Madison County folks. I'm not saying staff's not Madison County, but that was not my understanding either. It was for the needs of the residents. And if I missed that somewhere down the line, I apologize. But then we've got a $5,000 supplement excess. So is that because we're down staff, or are we not supplementing based on what we budgeted? Tell me where that budget excess come from.
You're still under the salary supplement?
Yeah, if you read across salary supplement, you've got a total of 11, a budget of 16, and a balance of 5.
Yes, so we were actually figuring into that amount 6 case managers, and I only have 1.
Okay.
I mean 5. Sorry, I lost 1. Sorry, 5.
So that balance is there, and so then you track down. So we've got $11,000 budget that was not expended, roughly. There's some overages at the top, so again, however that balances out. And then the blue part at the bottom, and again, I don't know if I've ever seen this sheet, the way it's broken out, or if I've ever seen this sheet. But some of the line items, I don't know the definitions of, and that's okay. But where I'm going at is fund balance at the bottom. It says we're sitting on a $48,000 fund balance. And I'm assuming that's for monies that aren't expended over the course of years, that was provided for by this body.
That's correct.
All right. So part of the conversation from a budget standpoint and supplementing funds, that's a line item number that we either need to take into consideration, or do you have a plan or a suggestion of what we do with that money? It doesn't just need to sit there.
Correct. One of that would be where some of that money that I want earmarked as general assistance would come from. I'm also going to be talking to my board about possibly hiring a full-time, tech position that would be able to handle the general assistance as well as do other duties for my case managers. Right now, we have no techs in our office. And essentially what a tech does is a lot of the paperwork. While the case managers are in the field doing visits and that sort of thing, the techs would be doing facts and releases of information, finding out, getting court orders, uploading, just a lot of in the house behind the scenes. So I'm going to be talking to my board about if they could approve that. That was on the agenda for this month, but we tabled it because we wanted to see how this was going to come out.
So you're talking about hiring a person?
Yes. And then,
remind me on all your employees, but we're only providing a supplement, so I would assume the state would be picking up the tech salary, or are you asking for all this to come out of it?
the state is not offering us any more positions at this time. The state positions that are allocated are per region, and right now, Region 5 does not have any vacancies. So yes, it would come out of that funding. And I also would want some money to come out of that funding to do some recruitment for foster homes and that sort of thing.
Well, I would suggest is, I also have a concern, again. If we're hiring, if this balance is to going to hire a person, and whatever that salary may be, then are you suggesting that's a one-time help us get caught up type of person, or a full-time for now and forever expectation? Because as soon as you start paying the salary out of this, it ain't gonna be gone. It's gonna be gone quick, and then somebody else is gonna be in here a year, 18 months saying, hey, can we take the salary budget that we have and need a lot more?
Mm-hmm.
So I'm trying to forecast this downstream to see where I am. Maybe, comfortably you spending hardly any of that budget right now until we have a plan.
Okay. It would be a part-time person that we brought on, and my hope, if it's approved by my board, is that the new fiscal year for the state is July, that they would take over that position. I have been advocating, I do believe, so right now the county only has one supervisor in the building, which can be difficult at times when there's multiple things blowing up. We have to fill in and help supervise. So I have been advocating for the state to give us another supervisor position as well as a tech. It's just not happening right now.
You had mentioned being open on Friday. When do you anticipate?
I'm not sure. The commissioner mentioned that on her when she addressed the state earlier in the month. She said that we're trying to move towards that. So I don't have an exact date.
So is all B-faxes across the state only open 4 days a week?
It's determined regarding the size of the area. I think the larger counties are open 5 days a week, and so they rolled it out in stages. So I do know eventually all D-faxes will be back to 5 days a week. I just don't know how soon that'll be.
Help me understand, what did they roll back in stages? Was it the re-enter the workforce after COVID? Because it's always been a Monday through Friday, 8 to 5 position. When did we change? So I'm going to lead with, Commissioner Doster was 100% correct. I can't envision, we have to be stewards of taxpayer money, right? We're not the federal government. We're not the state government. They can fund whatever they want to fund on top of it. We can't do that. Asking for assistance to help you in a job that's only working 6 hours a day to begin with is a little ludicrous to ask that question.
Well, the OFI, the people that work the front lobby, they work 8 hours a day. What they're doing is they're processing the applications that come in. So the lobby may not be open, but they're still working. And
What if I done that? What if I just come in tomorrow and tell everybody in this courthouse, you know what, we're gonna open for 6 hours a day, but we're gonna have to hire some more staff to help us catch up. It's not an overwhelming, feeling, all bubbly and warm inside to come before us and ask for money when we say that we work 6 hours a day, that we have 8 people and we can't catch up, and I've got departments bigger than 8 people and I run them all day long times 10. So I know you have a hard job. I know it is. DFAX is just we're thankful to have you, but somewhere we fell off the train prior to COVID and we've never got back on it. And to ask for the Board of Commissioners to take hard-earned tax money to people to give to an office that can't even be open 5 days a week is a stretch. I'm just being honest. And that's nothing personal, because I think you have great ambition in the future, but it's a stretch today. Well, any other questions?
Yes, I just want to say, I understand though part of your problem is with the state. And after COVID, and I work in industry, and I know in industry we have the same problem, getting folks back to work. In fact, some of them, they work 5 days supposedly, but they're only there 3 days inside the building. So I understand how this goes. And so, you know, I want to be good stewards of the money, but I also don't want to get into the situation where the most vulnerable people that we got in the county are put in a bad situation. So, you know, I think that communication is one of the things that we need a lot more of. And I don't think we've had communication very good, like you said before, and like Todd was talking about. So hopefully as we get into this further, your communication to us will be much better, and we'll understand what the opportunities are and then how to best use this money and what the state is looking at doing, because I can understand that I'm sure the funding is a real issue.
So, and we probably need to talk about it under the contract, but I think Derek, Commissioner Doster was leading to the fact that you probably would need to exhaust your reserve before adding to the reserve for an unknown. Was that sort of what your thought process was?
Well, I want to be careful what I'm saying, or at least from my opinion. You know, we budgeted, and I think it's in the budget, you know, that we you know, basically the same request every year, you know, and it's there. But you know, you tell me you don't have you're down a staff person, and that money rolls over to a balance. I guess, again, help me understand why we're not taking this 48,000 and selling, you know, those in the foster care, you know, the kids that are there that, hey, you know, there's a surplus balance at the end of the year. We've got 100 kids in the program, whatnot. You know, we can buy them an extra $100 of clothes. I'm trying, help me get it to, when I say to the people that need it, I also understand there's in lack of better terminology, there's a business side to it. I mean, I get that. We got to have somebody that checks on them, make sure there's no abuse, to make sure that people get enrolled correctly. I understand there's a business to it, but I just, if you're saying that, you know, I feel okay with the budget request, I just want more accountability to where this money's going, because if we're budgeting $33,000 a year, and this sheet right here, from a budget standpoint, is, you know, we're putting 10% back to the vulnerable kids. You know, to me, that's unacceptable. I'm not saying that salaries don't need supplements. Again, I think should be a state thing, and if they don't want to handle it, and we're handling it, I just think there needs to be a better understanding of where every dollar, you know, and when I say every dollar, a general understanding of where the dollars are going, you know, what each one's being used for, each line item. You know, you got a $5,000 line item here that we spent, you know, $4,500 on it for contracts. I'm not saying it doesn't need to happen, but I'm just trying to help me understand. So as these conversations continue for the next year or two, where that money is spent. I mean, and I'm gonna tell you, I have some high reservations of that $48,000 balance being spent on a salary that's not being supported by the state. I'm not saying you don't need help. I'm just saying that because that $48,000 goes away very quickly with a staff person, and the next year it's, you know, us looking bad because we will support a staff person that was hired, or, you know, the state's not stepping up and whatnot. I want to be careful and say, you know, I want to support our vulnerable people. I do. I also want to be a good steward and be able to answer the questions and understand the budget that we have with the you know, the sister agency relationship. I don't know how to say it better than that, except I'm concerned this can go south real quick.
Right. One other thing that we had brought up at our board meeting was also in December providing, like you suggested, an extra $100, $150, depending on what that amount is for the foster care, for the foster children's Christmas. It's my understanding that Christina Garrett, she was here in December, and she had some difficulty getting some Christmas presents, so she put that on the proposal also. If we had extra money in the budget to give the foster kiddos whatever it is the foster parents want. In regards to the clothing, that's per child, so all 27 children, they get a state budget for clothing allowance, and then in our foster parent per diem, we give them extra money if, and they usually need it, because the state budget, I think, is like $690 or something like that, and kids grow fast, and clothing is increasing in price. So we do that. I don't know how many of our foster parents are aware of that, so one thing that I can do is I can let my staff know, be checking in. If they've spent their state-allowed funding for clothing, shoes, whatever, our foster parent, what we provide to our foster parent is one of the more generous ones in the counties that I've worked in that I've seen, and Mr. Garner from our regional office, our regional accounting office, has said the same thing, that we are a little bit more generous with the amount of money. I just think either the foster parents don't know that or they're not utilizing it, so it's probably educating them on reaching out, giving us your receipts. We will reimburse you. If you can't afford to pay for it, we can work something out to get a check cut, that sort of thing.
What does the state in a stipend give each foster child?
For clothing?
Is it per month?
No, it's per year.
Per year. So I'm going to be very frank. So the last director stood in front of us and told us that there were 60 kids in foster care, and the 650, our portion, the $33,000, was roughly divided around $600 to $650,000, or $600 to $650 per child per year as a stipend, and that equated out to be, you know, roughly 38, about what the contract is. She made the math work. To see the math that I have now, 27 children at $650 one-time stipend, or divided by 12 months, however you want to give, only comes up to $17,000. So it saddens me to know that the lady that had your position moved up instead of out. I'll just be honest, because I know she stood in front of us and told us a different story.
In the reimbursement policy, it does say on page 2 under clothing allowance, that's actually the state. So the initial clothing allowance that they get, and that has to be used within 6 months of the child entering care, is $415. So the annual closing allowance, and it's per fiscal year, and our fiscal year runs July 1 to June 30th, they get $690 per child.
So you got
So,
a couple of $100 there that even, I mean, from what I've just heard, that skews the math more. I believe I believe personally what I'd like to see is a little bit more detail in what y'all plan on doing with $48,000.
okay,
I'd like you to tell me when y'all gonna be open on Friday, because I own a business, and the day we're not open during the week is gonna be the day we don't get phone calls, and then on Monday, we're not gonna get those phone calls. They're not gonna bother calling me, because nobody would care. And that's the mentality of the beast that we're dealing with. I would like to know that. I personally don't have a problem if you wanna look for a tech and supplement what they get with some of the $48,000 that we have here. But I do have a problem adding additional funding to a surplus that's sitting there. I mean, throwing money at it ain't gonna fix it. You know.
I have a procedural question, similar to our relationship with Extension Service, where it's a co-op funded deal. When we have a percentage of that, the dollars that we send to them are earmarked so much for salaries for a given position. If one of those positions is open for 3 months or 6 months, then that portion of our commitment gets returned to us. It doesn't just stay in an account somewhere. So I don't know if that's a procedural issue that we have just omitted, or for some reason different in dealing with this state agency than it is with the University of Georgia. But that's again, the same concern about the number of hours. So are people on a salary basis based on 40 hours that only open 24? I agree completely with Commissioner Dawson. There's a lot of questions.
I think that, Mike, for number 4 on the contract, the Board of Commissioners can vote to have the remaining funds turned back over to the county, what they don't spend, out of the $33,000 in the contract.
Right, that would be the first check mark instead of the third one.
So why don't we do this? I mean, we're allowed to have a meeting without a quorum of just 2. Why don't you get the accounting department, or whoever you was referencing a minute ago, you wasn't sure how the budget's laid out, and have them come in and sit down with 2 Board of Commissioners so we can fully understand this, because I know you're merely the messenger. I totally get it. And I don't want it to sound like we're nailing you when it's not. This was not your issue. But I think a much clearer understanding before we sign the bottom line would be very well vetted.
okay,
I know it would make me feel a lot better to have a couple of these guys come back and say, we understand, we've got a plan, and we know how they're going to follow up. And one thing I would ask later, we've got away from this over the years, and I'd like to get back to it, as you just heard the library board come before us quarterly. Give us an update of what's going on. That sure makes it a lot better when you spend taxpayer dollars to know what's going on, how many new kids you're serving. And so that's going to be part of the request in the future, is to get those. You know, they're just brief, but they're very informative, and we appreciate it.
Mm-hmm.
Especially because the newspaper's here. They appreciate it.
It would save time
Yes.
in the long run.
Well, if you want to build that transparency in those bridges, the best way to do it is to the paper. Word on the street. Hey, we're back open. So.
I have a quick question.
Yes.
We talked about the previous director, somebody else, and that she was trying to get additional funds for Christmas gifts and supplements. The DFAC's board is authorized to use those supplements. Do you know if she approached the board, or are you having issues with the board when you need to use some of that fund balance?
We have not had any issues with the board approaching them, to my knowledge. And like I said, we were going to vote on it, but we wanted to table it until we figured out where we were at. I think it just kind of got here too fast for the interim county director.
Yeah.
And so she did not approach the board, but she had approached the board in January for this year, December.
The lady that's in Madison County, on your board for Madison County. We
Ms.
had-
Collins, Ms. Sheila Collins,
Yes.
and
Here tonight?
no, she couldn't make it.
No,
Do you live in Madison County?
me.
Yeah.
Yes, I'm Nikki
Miss Nikki,
Simmons.
she's on
I'm
my
one of
board.
the new board members
Okay.
as of fall of last year, and I used to work for DFAX a long time ago. But Sheila Collins did call and said that she had an emergency come up in Athens.
No, that's fine.
So she could not come, but I'm here
She's
representing the board.
No, thank you.
And I'll say this too, I know it sounds we're critical, we're concerned.
Yes,
And
sir.
I don't want to say it another way. I mean, my spouse, she's a retired teacher for 30 years, so the umpteen numbers of pairs of socks and underwear and stuff that I bought that went to children that were not mine, and now I don't regret $1 that wasn't. I mean, I never fussed about it. So I come at it with, just for you understanding, I want you to, it's from a position of concern and accountability. And that's it. And just help us, lack of a better way to say it, help us understand the ask and where the resources go so we can articulate that to people. And then if that balance gets to zero one day, and I'm sure it would, and your agency needs help, then, I would fully expect it to come back to us. Whether it's a dollar amount or, hey, I've got several church members I know that might want to participate. I think there's organizations that we can, I'll say, put screws to, and I think they would step up and help. But
Yes,
just
sir.
help us get there is what I'm trying to say.
You're right about the churches. In previous, I don't know how long, since I worked in Clark County, which was, 2015, till forward, I have taken on the Christmas project for all of the foster children, no matter what county I was in. And my biggest sponsors were the church community. So I think it's just getting out there, letting them know this is a need. And I also think that that's a good avenue for foster parents. I have seen huge success in educating and talking to the churches about getting people involved. And like I said, I don't think people know that it's not just about becoming a foster parent. I got to take this child forever, how long. It could be a respite foster parent where you take them for a weekend and then they go back to their permanent foster parent. There's just so many things that they can do to support the foster parents and the community and the foster children. So I do think it's getting out, but you are correct. The church community has always stepped up and sponsored the majority of the children that I've worked with through the Christmas project.
Any other questions, gentlemen? There's one statement I need to make, but I'll make it very brief. I apologize if my tone, I have a character flaw amongst many, but my tone sometimes comes across like I'm directing all the arrows towards you. I promise you I'm not. It's just the way I talk, and I apologize for it. Because it's just like everybody at this table, uttering Commissioner Belcher, just we care.
Yes,
We care, and we want it to be successful. And for so long, it has not been. But we know we can move forward and it'll be great. So, thank you.
Should I reach out to Ms. Baxter about scheduling a time for the board?
Absolutely, please.
Okay.
Yes.
I'll give
You don't
you
got
the-
her number, I'll give it to you.
I think we've been emailing. She's been great, so thank you.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
You're the same Tabitha that was in Clark County?
Yes, sir.
I thought. All right, gentlemen. Statements, the chairman's report, yes. Madison County Board of Commissioners office will be hosting a Red Cross Blood Drive Tuesday, February 6th in the meeting room, in the public meeting room here. Participants will need to schedule an appointment at www.redcross.org. Madison County Recreation Department Summer Day Camp registration opens February 12th at 9 a.m. camp will be for 6 weeks. For more information, visit www.madcorec.com. On that particular item of summer day camp, it will probably fill up within 45 minutes. You will be on a waiting list after 45 minutes, I can assure you. Last year, we opened it at midnight, and at 1 a.m. it was full with 100 and some odd kids. So this is a highly sought-after program, so good luck. Quick fingers. The Madison County Animal Control Department is currently staffed, as we said it would be, January 1. If you have any animal control complaints, please call 706-795-6342. This number is also on the county's website. Please do not call 911 for non-emergency situations. If a dog's standing in your yard, do not call 911. He's still there tomorrow, call him. Not today. Citizens can also complete a complaint form on the county's website. Just click on the tab with a picture of animal control. We went a step further by putting pictures. The Madison County Board of Commissioners office will be hosting a grand opening for the new Comer Emergency Management Service Station, tentatively Saturday, February 24th. The time is still tentative, but we're probably 9 to 10. We're still working out the details. February 24th, tentatively. The Danielsville Old Gym remodel project, as we've talked about, we budgeted for, will consist of installation, install, will begin in February. The BOC is currently quoting HVAC prices for new units for the air conditioning for the gymnasium out back. As most of you know, we use that gymnasium for multi-purposes. It is everything from volleyball to dance to pound, several different classes, but there will be electrical panel upgrades because we're changing the building over to 3-phase, and there will also be insulation installed in that building. The chairman and the county staff have met with Mike Crest, timber harvester, in regard to cutting the timber on the property located behind the Danielsville EMS for future county development. We will be getting the numbers back on that in just a few days. Met with them this morning at 8:30 on site. This was something we discussed a while back. We were waiting on the surveys. The surveys are here tonight. They were completed, so now we know the exact boundaries for Mike Crest, if anybody's wondering. The Board of Commissioners would like to recognize 911 dispatchers, Kelly Gaddy, Haley McGuffin, Laney Bales, and Tara Phillips for the outstanding job on January 9th with coordinating emergency response, ensuring the safety of both responders and for those in need. Your dedication and diligence during the challenging weather conditions have not gone unnoticed. The storms that we had on January 9th were exactly 4 days after the storms we had in 2022, January 5th, 2023, January 5th, followed this year, 2024, January 9th. And I don't think I recognized those 911 dispatchers, but it was a work of art with the amount of road closures, the amount of overflowing, the amount of traffic, the amount of wrecks, everything that was going on. These four, because this was the shift, this is what I verified, I would have put them against anybody in the country. They never broke a sweat. They never panicked. They kept everybody coordinated, from fire, first responders, sheriff, our road departments. They were managing them all at the same time. Hundreds of calls came in about a 10-hour period. And these girls, you would have thought it was the very first call. They were perfect. So congratulations to our 911. Statements or remarks from citizens on the agenda item before us. Anybody? I got one statement. Welcome back, Larry Cox.
Thank you. Good to be back.
It is good to see you, sir. For some of you that don't know Larry, he's been a fixture in this building for some 8 or 10 years, just about every meeting. got a little health setback, but proud he's back here today.
Thank you.
Praise the Lord. Glad to see you, old friend. Young friend.
No, old is right.
All right. Anybody else? All right. Old business, consider the DFAX, budget contract. I'm assuming because we haven't brought this up yet that we're going to do a postponement, or just not really a postponement. We're just going to roll it over to further date. We're actually working on them to set the date. How about that?
So we're gonna table it?
Well, there's nothing new to table. Well, it's already on the agenda, so I guess we need to table it. So, yeah. Motion to table till further discussion.
So moved.
Motion by Commissioner Chandler, second by Commissioner Doster. Any discussion, gentlemen?
Yes.
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 Just for our information, this budget we're looking at for them will be for their year beginning July 1.
Fiscal year, yes, sir.
So we just need to have this taken care of prior to.
That was from my understanding. I thought heard her say fiscal year.
Yeah, so they'll come back before us again in June for 24's budget.
And I did not mean to override that conversation as much as I did with DFAX, but I do want to say thank you to this Board of Commissioners. For anybody watching or going to go back and watch, it's that kind of due diligence that you expect out of your elected officials, and I appreciate you guys for that. Consider approving the surveyors of the county transfer station, fire training facility, and animal shelter, gentlemen. Really what this is we never had an accurate survey of those properties, especially the transfer station and the animal shelter. It was always a best guess versus old records. So now we have a confirmed plat to be reported.
And with the approval, I guess the question, with the approval of this, helps further define, articulate, and contractual relationships, say with MOAS or with the fire services, or, I mean, helps kind of.
Well, yeah, anything we need a legal description for, your legal descriptions are ancient deeds from 100 years ago, and so, the county surveyor has done yeoman's work to put all this together. So I think the vote or the approval is just approving it to be recorded in the real estate records, and then it can be referred to there for whatever we need, whether it's, for use by the fire department of 2.5 acres, or the land boundaries for cutting timber, or whatever it might be.
Make a motion to approve the plat filing.
Second. I have a motion by Commissioner Doster. We have a second.
Second.
Commissioner Kirk, second by Commissioner Kirk. Any discussion, gentlemen?
Just out of curiosity, has anyone ever approached the property owners that are
On the road now.
see if we don't have to discuss it tonight, but I think it'd be prudent on our part, particularly as we define where the old landfill boundaries were located, and maybe head off potential problems in the future, that we initiate some conversation with particularly these two that are
So
inserted into the mass of the property.
EPD has a map of the landfill at this location because it's still being monitored. So, we had talked to Gary about overlaying that map onto this for county records, so we knew where that landfill was. I think what you're talking about, the map, the landfill behind the EMS station, that's gonna be a little bit more work. There's not.
There's not a plan.
But it is intended to.
Yes, but for the one over at the transfer station, there is a map. It's still not EPD.
What I was looking at was, at some point, the purchase of these two properties.
All right.
But here again, we don't have to.
It is our full intent to have a descriptive boundary of the old landfill at EMS defined once the timber is cut And now that we have our survey, we'll do the pothole and we'll contact GeoHydro or somebody and come in and start doing potholes. But, thank you. So any other discussion? Hearing none, Commissioner May?
Yes. Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yes.
Consider approving the survey of the Sheriff's Office, Investigation Building, Health Department, EMS. I guess we could have took those both up in the same, because it's the exact same topic. I apologize, I didn't see it.
I thought we were.
I didn't see it. That's on me.
Quick fix, if Commissioner Chandler will make a motion.
I have a motion by Commissioner Shannon. Second by Commissioner Adams. Any discussion, gentlemen? Hearing none, Commissioner Kirk?
Yes.
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 Yes. Consider the loss distribution. So, welcome back, Hall. That's all I can tell you, welcome back. None of the numbers have changed, gentlemen, amongst any of the cities. The city's percentages stayed the same. If you'll recall, when Hull failed to meet its qualification, the county just absorbed that in a holding period until they could get contractually back into compliance. And now that they've done so, Christina could probably take this better than I can. She had all the cities come in to re-sign the document acknowledging that the city of Hull would get their contributions back. And there was no issues. No issues. So, gentlemen.
Move approved.
Second.
Motion by Commissioner Doster, second by Commissioner Chandler. Any discussion, gentlemen? Hearing none. Commissioner Kirk?
Yes.
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 Yes. Yes.
Welcome back, guys. It's still a hill. I know you're climbing it, baby.
Yeah, we
I know you're doing it, but that's all right. Anything, you know where to call.
That's right.
Consider appointing Zach Mitchell to the Library Board of Trustees. Huh?
He says his regrets. He's not here today. He had a medical procedure that he was not able to reschedule, but
I
you
promise
all
you,
know him, so.
if I was able to vote, I would make that first nomination.
Move he be appointed.
Second, before he changes his mind, is that anesthesia?
That's right, how man, yeah.
Motion by Commissioner Chandler, second by the entire board. For the record, it was Derek Doster. But, any discussion, gentlemen, on this one?
No. Appreciate it.
Thank you for your continue to serve.
All right, all of them, Commissioner Doster?
Yes.
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 So if you haven't noticed, we love Zach Mitchell.
Great, we're looking forward to it. We're gonna have one more seat opening up in March, and Davis is gonna be stepping down. Then we'll hopefully, and Davis, then hopefully we're gonna be full again, so we'll be back soon.
All right. Our board seems to be filling up with some very good qualified people, so pretty excited to hear that. Thank you.
Thank you.
Consider approving statewide mutual aid assistance agreement. Christina, you want to explain this one? I'm about hoarse.
Bobby Smith come to me, that's EMS and EMA director. He says this is an agreement that we sign with the state every 3 years. He's also asked for all the municipalities in the county to sign this, and they approve this agreement individually at their own meetings. And this just states that if a surrounding county or city needs Madison County's help and we're available, that we will come to them. And the same thing for us, for the state or other counties. So we had a situation with the railroad, CSX, and Carlton, Comer, whatever. We could reach out to the state, Elberton, other counties to come and help. I did talk to Bobby about if we did sign the agreement, does it hold us obligated or accountable if we're not able to respond or anything like that? And he said no, there's no obligation. That's just a formality.
More of a consent.
Yeah.
With that being said, gentlemen,
Motion to approve. Second.
It's early, well, y'all ain't gotta be that fast. Motion by Commissioner Doster, second by Commissioner Chandler. Any discussion on this topic?
Just one thing on this, I think this agreement, we should use this almost as a notice that we need to seriously be looking at a county fire marshal, a county training officer, somebody to coordinate the efforts that we do. We had an instance on the Nowhere Road in Jackson County, where our volunteer fire departments were the first responders on the scene, and as good a job as the guys do, a coordinated effort is absolutely essential in a situation like this. And here again, we can do that when we get into budget talks and all like that, examining where we want to go in there.
Just another little input, Appendix A is where you list your authorized representatives to call for help. So that'll be the chairman's position and your EMS director. And Exhibit B are the official officers that can request reimbursement or mutual aid for those situations. That'll be your chairman position and your finance director position. Y'all know what names will be there.
And I agree with Dennis about that, but we gotta work real closely with the fire departments and the fire association, which is already established. And they supposedly have, some agreements that they have on mutual aid, and they even got some with other fire departments, so, outside the county, so we need to make sure they're included at the get-go with that.
Absolutely.
I think, pretty much like Harrison will have an agreement with, the city of Royston. Comer will have one with Oglethorpe County. The one we see the most with mutual aid is our EMS, and it's really the Comer station and the Oglethorpe station because of Watson's Mill Bridge.
Mm-hmm.
One side of the bridge is Oglethorpe County, one side is Madison County, so when they call in the 911, 9 times out of 10, we're the closest. So they'll call with the address and verify that it is in Oglethorpe County, but we'll still run because we know we can be there quicker, even though it's their scene once they arrive.
And we'll get that a lot with Norwood Road, the
Yeah.
whole
Yeah.
station being up there. It's very common.
Yes.
Yes.
Yes,
Yes.
All right, gentlemen. Road updates, gentlemen.
just commend the road department for the work they've done. It's been pretty tough 3 weeks for them. Going ahead to this, I think that's right, edge of line, I think it's in Brian district, but Garrett Randall Road, there's a pipe that's blown out a couple of times, and I noticed a bit of erosion on either side of it.
Okay. That's exactly what you're talking about.
It's not a heavily used road.
That's on our list of repairs.
Yeah.
You know what,
I did comment to Derek, the work that they did on, there was pretty significant improvement on Jones Road a couple of years ago, and then they did that pipe work in, and it's stellar job.
Have we got the 20-foot extension already in?
Yes.
On the other side?
Yes.
Okay. I didn't know they got that one in. It may be easier, if you would like, for reference, the Storm Road pipe damage, Freeman Fowler Road, New Hope Church Road, Stone Stewart Road, McGee Fitzpatrick Road, Millbrook Circle, Garrett Randall Road, Piedmont Park, Jones Road, Harry Paul Road, Hardwood Lane, and that's it. But that's enough, because some of these were complete washouts, and as of today, probably half of this list has been completed. Millbrook's pipe arrived this afternoon, just so you know. It arrived today? It arrived this afternoon, which we've already got it stabilized, so. Stone Stewart has not arrived. Freeman Fowler, I don't think has. New Haven has been completed. Piedmont Park has been completed. I got a ton of job. All right, Garrett, what you got, Dennis? You got any roads
I've already said.
Oh, perfect.
Mhm.
How about you? Nothing we don't already know about? All right. I love it when that happens.
What we got? I need to follow up with the resident before I turn that one in. And, just looking at the list on road damage reports.
Mhm.
Like Fowler Freeman, he talks about we're getting a quote. For an 18-foot by 6-foot.
It's got 2 96s in it now.
But I'm not saying it doesn't need to be that big. I'm just saying, just make sure our guys, I mean, if we need to go with multi-barrel 10 by 10s or something versus the equipment it's going to take to pick that up.
Yeah, it normally takes a crane in 6-foot sections, but yeah, that, if you'd like to reach out to Alan, I'd greatly appreciate it to give him some other ideas. I think the basin study come back probably from, John Phillips, and it was actually bigger than that.
And I think that's what the basin study called for, was that 18 by 6 by 60.
Yeah.
I mean, by the time you dig that out, I mean,
And unfortunately, it's one of those roads that, on that end where this thing washed out, I don't think they'd put one house. On the other end. Maybe two, well, there's about 2 or 3 up on the very end. Yeah. But it's still a highly traveled road.
It's a busy through road.
It's a through road, it's got a lot of traffic.
yeah, and I'm not saying that that, what our terminology is equivalent opening.
Yeah.
I mean, but.
You have a stronger background than I do, so I'll be more than happy to let you have that conversation.
But 18-foot wide, that's probably it's probably gonna interior, it's probably a multi-box door to begin with, why not just say it's too small, I mean, that's a monster.
Now, Christina and Alan have been working, we're gonna submit to the state. Go ahead, Christina.
Yeah, so this whole list, in a much prettier format, an LMIG application submitted last week, all of these repairs. So Georgia DOT has an LMIG program, and I know Mr. Doster is familiar with the EEEs, an Emergency Flood Assistance Program, and we submitted $627,000 requested assistance and funding. They probably won't come back with that full amount, and then you'll have your percentage match, and we'll have to turn in timesheets, all materials we've purchased, et cetera. But we have applied for this. I have applied for this grant every year for the past 3 years. We've always gotten some sort of funding.
Last year, we got about 180.
I don't remember what it was last year.
I know they covered the cost of the home and Autry.
Yeah.
Out of it.
Mm-hmm. Another thing I talked to Alan about was the culverts that actually washed out. Some of y'all are familiar with this. Once those culverts are replaced and packed with dirt, gravel, et cetera, that they will not be touched for patching or repaving for at least 6 months. So it could take could be a little bit longer than that, give or take.
All right. So, the DOC office submitted a request for funding assistance through GDOT, LMIG $627,000, so she just explained that. The 2024 LMIG road projects are out for sealed bid. Bid openings will be held on February 29th at 11 a.m. here in this room. Vendors can receive a bid packet from the county clerk's office or the road department office. LMIG SAP, Safety Action Plan project, is set to begin Wednesday, January 31st, depending upon weather and ground moisture. The county received $235,000 in funding for line striping, plus the county's match of 30% of $70,500 for the total project cost of $305,000. Total of 140.8 centerline miles to be painted, and that's supposed to start tomorrow, depending on the weather. I think we're gonna have a good week, so hopefully we'll get some of these lines painted.
It did start for that.
No, Stephen said.
So who's doing that on Madison County?
The company that we pay to lay that surface treatment down, that's part of our contract that they'll write what they surface. but this is something
Totally
totally
different
different.
Well, I understand that.
Yeah.
I was wondering what that, who was striping it.
Yeah, it's that company.
They put down the temporary stripe and they come back and put the permanent. So the Board of Commissioners office, has purchased 5 new vehicles for the government complex. These were all budgeted. 2 Ford Mavericks for the property evaluations for the 2 new field appraisers in which the state mandated we hire. 2 Ford Mavericks for building inspection because those bigger trucks were, relayed over to the rec department who pulls trailers for our building inspection don't. So we just shifted a bunch of vehicles. And then there's, 1 Ford Explorer, for the courthouse travel, training, conference, et cetera. These vehicles, the one vehicle for the courthouse will stand beside the vehicle we purchased last year through, what was it? GBI, to where now we'll have enough vehicles for the courthouse staff not to drive personal vehicles and charge mileage anymore, because now we'll be able to have vehicles.
Or dependable vehicle.
Dependably vehicles, yeah.
We investigated use for the vehicles where the senior citizen buses. My understanding that was the bodies was in terrible shape, but the chassis were excellent.
We sold those. We've had a lot of vehicle turnover. Before purchasing anything, we try to liquidate all our unused vehicles or unworthy vehicles. You're gonna hear in the next meeting about a piece of mowing equipment coming up, but we sold 4 other pieces of mowing equipment that we did use to help offset the cost of it. These Mavericks, the reason we went with the new Mavericks is mainly because of the fuel mileage is upwards of mid-30s miles to the gallon, and a lot of times for the property appraiser guys, just them and a clipboard. We didn't need these big F-150s running up and down the road for that purpose, so we were able to take those F-150s and give them over to departments that actually needed a full-size truck. They was running maybe too big of a truck, an old ambulance bed, flatbed, when they really didn't need to burn all that gas. So every move we've made has been very beneficial. And I don't think one of the things that we didn't mention, I probably should have put it on here, had you put it on there. Sorry, I ain't putting it on there. Was a quick response vehicle. So Madison County now, if you ever drive by the EMS station in Danielsville, you're gonna see a bright red Ford Expedition, and it's lettered up to match the ambulances of our county. This vehicle was funded through an opioid settlement, and in that settlement, it had a worded verbiage of quick response unit for potential overdoses for anything we saw fit. So what we done was we purchased that vehicle. So now the supervisor on site, for instance, the Danielsville ambulance is at Athens Regional, or on their way back, and we get a call in Danielsville. The supervisor has a vehicle now to get to site to start treatment. That vehicle is fully stocked with the typical life-saving equipment until the ambulance can arrive. We're trying to cut down our response times for our ambulances, and having the central point of the county being that location for storage, we hope to save more lives. So just wanted a heads up on that. And it is red, very red.
The team missed it.
You cannot miss it. Anything else, gentlemen?
This is roads to be like.
Yes.
It's stressed.
Yes, I didn't make that document, okay, that's what it was to me.
This is just roads that they're paying money for, but
Yes.
not anything about resurfacing.
No.
Just painting some lines.
That's what you want. Now, we'll probably start that, just for the record, we're gonna try to start early this year with our next paving process.
Each one, yes.
T-Splosh is coming up. I mean, it's busy is an understatement right now. Thank God I got great staff and a great board. That's all I can say. Gentlemen, there's nothing else to be discussed. Oh, congratulations, 5 years. Anything other than that? Motion to adjourn? Nope, what?
Several things.
Remarks from citizens?
Oh, any remarks from citizens, sorry. Yes, sorry. I thought you just wanted to come and hear us talk, sorry.
Well, that's enjoyable. I think I do a great job, actually.
I appreciate that, sir.
Should I stand here or can I sit?
Come on up. I don't hear too well, sir.
Well, I don't speak too well, you don't speak too loud. My name is David Carey, and I'm the president of the Bryce Landing Phase 2 Homeowners Association on Highway 29. You probably all know where that's at. We have a lot of kids in the subdivision, and they play in the streets a lot. But we also have a problem with speeders. And we've tried a lot of different things trying to slow the speeders down. We have a four-way intersection in that subdivision that's presently just got stop signs on 2 places. And we think that if we make that a four-way stop, it will slow these speeders down and give them a chance to change their mind about speeding into the subdivision. So I've gone to Alan Lapsinski, I cannot pronounce his name.
You done it better than that, sir.
And he says that his sign people, I'm not sure who that is, will take a look at it, and then they could refer it to the board for your approval. And I'm just here tonight to ask you to consider approving that, making it a four-way stop sign to slow the people down coming into the subdivision. That's all I really have to say. And I want to check back with him to see if he's still got that in progress.
We've had a lot of concerns about that subdivision, and unfortunately, our hands is tied. We're not allowed to put speed bumps out. Used to, you could, we don't do it anymore.
Right, that was.
I do think this is in your district. If you'll write out, give me your perspective, back to the board.
I'll have to live there many times.
Okay.
You're talking about right there where you first come in?
Yeah, I'm not talking about speed humps, I'm talking about speed signs.
Yeah, the sign, that's why I was just referencing why you don't have speed.
Well,
I think this is a great alternative.
Well, the speed humps, I've checked into a lot of different things. The flashing speed indicators are too expensive for us, we can't afford it. I went to Sheriff Moore to set up radar, but that road's not approved for radar. We've gone on Facebook trying to get the speeders to slow down, but that's not going to happen. So the speed humps, even though we would conceivably be able to afford those, they're like $250 for a 6-foot strip, getting them installed properly and get them approved, having signs that say there are speed humps there, that's expensive. The only thing that we can think of that would really be effective is making a four-way stop sign, and it would require your approval.
Okay. Right. If you'll write out, take a look, and call me, yeah, I gotta go that way tomorrow anyway, I'll take a look also, we'll come back to the board. I think it's a reasonable ask.
I talked to Mr. May before on the phone, and I really appreciate the work he does for District 3.
You got a good one.
Yeah.
And you're talking about when you first come in, where those 2 cul-de-sac roads come in.
Right. Right.
Isn't that a four-way?
I did some research on this, and it's the psychology of a speeder. Highway 29 is 55-mile-an-hour speed limit. Mm-hmm. You come off a 55-mile-an-hour, and you turn in, and then people want to speed up with you. Well, there's nothing to slow them down after they come in there. And we just want them to stop and realize that, hey, we're in a subdivision here, we're not going to do 55. And then from that point forward, possibly let them obey the speed limit, which is actually 25 miles an hour. But if you want to come by and I'll give you my
No, I totally agree. Like I said, I've got several friends that live in that neighborhood. I know exactly what you're talking about.
We have, that's the only four-way stop sign that would be there. The rest of them, I think there's a three-way stop sign, or 2 3-way stop signs. 2 3-way places that you could add a stop sign, but.
You have a phone number, sir?
Yeah,
Not for the record, okay?
Oh, I don't mind. No. It's 706-202-2881.
So we may call you when I come out so I can visually see what you're talking about.
I'll be glad to show you.
When you first turn into the neighborhood, it's what, maybe 50 yards into the neighborhood?
It's a little bit further than that.
Where Water Lily and
Madeline Court.
Madeline Court come in.
And I live
right there. The first four-way intersection.
Yeah, and I live on Madeline Court, that first.
Now, if you go straight on back though, is there a 3-way back there already?
There's not a 3-way stop sign, but there are there's places where roads come in where you could actually add another stop sign.
I was thinking that was a concern. Okay.
Yeah, but anything to slow them down. I even bought a radar gun I was gonna sit out there and measure their speed and give that report over to Sheriff Moore. He said, that's great, but there's nothing to do with it. And, he said it would just make people angry at me, so.
Yes. I think it's a reasonable request, but we'll definitely take a look at it, sir. And on behalf of Sheriff Moore also, there's a line of sight issue with radars. And I don't think he has the line of sight in there to run it, even though it's not on the radar list either. There's multiple factors on that.
But the only place is around the curve and going down the long hill, that's a line of sight, that's the only thing.
I think you got it 500 feet.
Yeah.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Any other statements, remarks from citizens, statements, remarks from commissioners? Yes, sir.
Commissioner, I want to appreciate y'all coming out to the MLK program 2 weeks ago. We really enjoy y'all being there, and the ones wasn't there, I appreciate you letting me know and emailing and this, and everybody was very excited y'all being there. They did talk to the lady who was on DFAC. I'm the president of the Pennsylvania Fellowship. We got 10 churches involved, and we'd like to do something like that. If you can give her my name and number, that'd be fine with me. We'll get involved in that, help out, in the way we can, and that's what we're for. And I'd like the commission to come up with a proclamation to get to the Pennsylvania Fellowship if y'all see fit doing that. I can let y'all know everything that we do in the community for Madison County.
Please send me an email with that, sir. And on behalf of that, being you the president, thank you. I tell you, you ain't heard good music until you go to that service, right? That's right. I mean, get down. Good music. That was great. It was great. It was great service. So, with that being said, urgent matters.
No, commissioners, statements, remarks from commissioners.
I just done that a minute ago.
Okay, well, I think, do you want to?
Sorry.
Yes,
Commissioner,
change my
proceed.
title for just a second. Do we want to talk about Nancy's place, how we want to move forward?
If you want to, I mean, I just sent an email shortly before the meeting started, if the commissioners had time to look at that yet.
I rode by, and I haven't responded because I didn't get back to a 450. And so it's very possible that there's 100,000 there. Because there's some, meter boxes installed, which means water lines is probably ran.
Mm-hmm.
There's a chain link fence been, installed around the retention pond, and there's a well house and well.
Yeah.
I think it's just a situation that the board's never come across before. And
Well,
so just kind of collectively how we want to move forward.
I agree.
There's two options.
I haven't either. So, but I think it's fair to say that advertisement was not done correctly in 22, so it probably is still the RR that it was. The question is whether it's, as you say, the money's been spent before the change from 2 acre to 4 acres to give you vested rights for 2 acre lots there.
And to prove that would probably be a little tougher than we want to embark on.
It would be,
That's right. It'll be a he said, she said.
It could be a lot of work, and it was a lot more.
So unfortunately, though, from my understanding of it, it was all art to begin with. And then they thought it wasn't. They thought it had changed, so they applied for a rezone that wasn't a true rezone because it never had changed to begin with.
Right. Well, yeah.
Had it had stayed the original request, they would not have been before us.
Right, unless he wanted to get more than, have more than 2 acre lots. He thought he couldn't have anything because it was A2.
That's right.
So he asked for R1, which he got R1 with conditions and a limited number of lots. But I think he's, obviously through his lawyer, he's satisfied to go back to RR, AR now with, again, vested into 2 acre lots because of the money that was spent before the change to the 4 acres.
So he agrees to go to a 2 acre lot.
Right.
Then I would let that ride.
Well, on that, we need to get a gallon per minute flow from the well to determine how many lots you can put in there, because we do have thing in our zoning and planning that you've gotta have so many gallons per minute in this private well.
Okay.
That has been up for conversation a couple of times.
Okay, so that's already in our ordinance, and then that's something he'd have to comply with, this is
Absolutely.
part of the preliminary and final plat process, I guess.
Does not address fire suppression, it does
Well, we got it.
consumption, residential consumption.
Okay, that's in our subdivision regs, yeah, okay.
He's got a fire hydrant stuck up there that if we ever brought water down the county road, is not, this is just a cluster.
Well, but most of them are, because we never did have a clear ordinance on what needs to be done.
Mike,
But you sent something here, fairly.
Yeah,
we
just
need
like
something
4
that-
o'clock
yeah, I
afternoon,
need to-
thereabouts.
I need to read that one.
I read the other one you said, maybe.
Yeah, this one I tried to do a little better job of bringing it all together.
So essentially, the question is, or the issue is, if it's acceptable with RR, which is 2 acre minimum, if he has done some work, then we really should recognize that. If he had not done anything prior to the change, then there's a question of, for us, do we want to allow as it was, or are we gonna stick him to the?
Exactly, that's the question.
I think there'll be a follow-up email tomorrow on that, what has been done.
Well, we've got next week to discuss that.
Yes.
and just so, for the record, if you had to put it in the verbiage, I would recommend that fire hydrant be removed and capped, because
Okay.
I don't want, because it goes nowhere, and I don't want it to be a false sense of security to whoever built their house, thinking that the fire hydrant out front is gonna work when it's dry.
Yeah.
Or at least it's stated a dry hydrant at the time, one of the two, with no means. I don't want a real estate agent to say, look, if you buy this house, you got cheap insurance because you got a hydrant in the front yard.
Or
It's
it's
empty.
any place for a dog.
Well, that's about what it is today. Make a mailbox out of it. But anyway, any other, statements or remarks
No, sir.
from my office?
Oh, I've got one more thing for the ladies from the library. We do have another local author that's been published, Mr. Clyde Verheim, who has published his first science fiction book. Y'all may give him a call and him come visit we all someday.
Thank you for
Do a
that.
little book signing. So,
I know Mr. Verheim. I'll have
there you go.
I thought it was in the paper. Was it in the paper?
Yes, it was. And Clyde will tell you about it if you see him.
All right.
Real excited.
Won't miss that opportunity. If there's no other questions, or concerns from the commissioners or staff, my great helper, love it, I love it.
Commissioner Protein.
But that's right, that's cool, what you told me. Urgent matters. Any-
Nothing for me, no, sir, no executive session.
Move to adjourn.
Thank you, Derek.
Thank you.
I'm worried about what
You know, I had one last.
Okay. I did break it. Ma'am.
I prayed, so I didn't have to.
Any of y'all picked up your W-2s, or maybe a message in them?
3 of them.
I don't know when they put that in your box, but they put
Heel joint.
some in on Friday. State ID number.
I feel weird, like, yeah, I just picked something and that's okay.
Yeah, he told me, that's why
Oh, well, yeah.